It is a sense of resignation. And the thing about the left, you say, because the left, if you believe, I'm trying to avoid those terms, I did say that at the beginning, but those of us who want to build a society more running the interest of the majority, not those at the top, they always find a reason to make it personal about you to avoid your arguments. If you're too poor, they accuse you of envy. If you're too rich, they accuse you of hypocrisy. If you're too young, they accuse you of being naive. If you're too old, they accuse you of being a dinosaur. You just can't win. And it's always about avoiding that substance. And you know what? I just think, it is our responsibility, because they'll always have these attacks. They're not going to go away. And the stronger we are, the worse those attacks are. But we have to have confidence in an inspiring alternative that resonates with people. And that is our responsibility to do that. And that's why I'm saying being self-critical. Because people ought to be afraid to come up with something that actually can resonate with people and relate to the world in which they live. And to link the hopes and dreams and fears and insecurities they have with how you do something about them. And that's my view. So it's always resignation that we're fighting against. Now, Ryan, the EU referendum. Now, personally, and just to explain, I'm going to be voting to stay within the European Union. Now, that isn't because I think the European Union is perfect. It definitely is not. And I want a more democratic, accountable European Union. But this is my view, because lots of people, including myself, I went to Greece last year. I went there in last January, and I saw a society devastated by cuts. I saw what happened to young people, over half of them without work. Poverty more than doubled in that society. Basic services slashed away, where people are turned away from health services. So they set up these clinics manned by doctors and nurses who aren't paid. They get nothing, they're volunteers. Where the infant mortality and suicide rate have surged upwards. These policies have killed people in that country. And I saw what happened with Greece is, the hope I got from Syriza being elected was matched by the fear of the people in charge across Europe. Because my hope was that they would embolden other like-minded people across Europe. But that was their fear. So they decided that Greece had to be taught a lesson. Because if they weren't taught a lesson, then others would follow their example. And Donald Tusk, the president of the European Council, said they didn't fear economic or financial contagion from Greece. He said we feared political contagion. That people in Spain, in Italy, in Ireland, in Portugal in particular, would look at Greece and go, well, they won all these concessions, so we'll just do the same thing. And one by one, the dominoes would fall, and the way the European Union is run at the moment would be changed completely. And that's what happened to Greece. So I understood that anger and that frustration. But you know what? When I say I'm voting to stay within, I get people saying, oh, tell that to the Greeks, what happened to them? But the vast majority of people in Greece, overwhelmingly, want to stay within the European Union.
Because it's stupid.
In fact, even
it's
more,
stupid.
What they want is they want to change the European Union and transform it. But that is what the majority of Greeks, almost 80%, if not more, want to happen. So if we're saying solidarity with Greece means we have to get outside the European Union, we're not doing what the Greek people want us to do. So if people want to support out, fine, but that's not on the basis of what the Greek people certainly want. And what really galvanised me to think about how we change the European Union is the former Greek finance minister, Yanis Varoufakis, who heckling Yanis Varoufakis. You've never had that before, but fine, carry on. Anyway, he set up this movement. He's helped us up a movement across Europe, the Democracy in Europe movement, and he's trying to link people across the European Union to change it. Because we've got things like the Transatlantic Trade Investment Partnership, negotiated in secret between the EU and the US, which will give corporations the ability to sue elected governments for policies they don't like in secret courts. We could go on. But actually, what's going to happen if we leave the European Union is this. Firstly, it won't be seen as because people were fed up with TTIP. Most people, let's be honest, don't know what that is. It will be seen as a rejection of immigrants and foreigners. I mean, that literally is how it's going to be portrayed. There's no question about that whatsoever. So that's the first point. The second point is, what we have within the European Union, and it's not enough but it exists, are workers' rights, which are protected across the European Union. And they will vote. That's it, gone. Boom. Social chapter, workers' rights, gone. The Tory government is not going to bring them back, are they? No, not going to do it. And what they're going to do then is negotiate a series of transatlantic trade investment partnerships with as many countries as they can, including an attempt with the United States of America, but with countries across the world. And what they will do is use it as a vindication, not just for the anti-immigrant rhetoric we've seen, but in order to accelerate all the attacks that we've already seen on everything from workers' rights to social security. It will be a disaster. It will not be a victory for those of us who want a different sort of society. It will be seen as a victory for UKIP and for the Conservative right, a bonfire of workers' rights, the social chapter, the beginning of the dismantling as well, of course, of the UK, because Scotland will go pretty pronto. I don't want that to happen. I don't think that's for the interests of the sorts of politics I believe, and my view is we should unite with people across the European continent who want to change the European Union into something far more democratic and accountable. That's not easy.